Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another live hangout. My name is Dr. Dan, for those of you who don't know me and who are maybe watching the show after we've gone live. So if you're watching the replay, hello, welcome. This is actually quite a random jumping in for a live hangout. We've already had one this week, and my student, who is an online student from Hong Kong, for some reason hasn't shown. So I'm taking the opportunity. I was already set up for online, so here we are. I thought we'd just quickly do a Q&A. That's all today is going to be. We're not going to deep dive into any subject. Earlier in the week we looked at twang, and for those of you who caught today's pre-recorded video, of course we looked at harmonies 101. If you haven't already seen that video, I really encourage you to go and have a look at it on the channel. But really what I want to do today is talk to you, answer your questions, not talk to you, answer your questions. And so I hope you'll be able to stick around and join us for probably what's going to be around about 15 minutes. It's not going to be long, so you've got to get your questions in on the chat section if you're live and watching the show live, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
And so we've already got a few people jumping in, all the regulars. Good to see everyone. Gavin and Shane, for those of you who don't know me, Tutu is Shane. His name is Shane. Kev Tran, good to see you. Linda, all the usual suspects. We've got Lois has jumped in from Winnipeg, Canada. Good to see you all. So we're going to dive straight into some Q&A today. And as I said, today is about and it's just answering a few questions very quickly because I don't have a lot of time, but I did want to just jump in and spend an extra few minutes with you guys this week. So let's have a look here. Gavin has asked, how can I be consistent with my support? Because I always lose my support D4 and up. Gavin, I think, mate, the challenge with breath management is this. What I find with most people who step into the studio have not actually had the opportunity, even those who have had lessons before, have not often had the opportunity to really zone in on their breath management. In fact, I was having a conversation with a client only recently, and we were talking about the fact that she'd been having lessons for 5 years, and her teacher, she wasn't dissing on her teacher, and I'm not about to either. But the one thing that they hadn't really looked at was breath management. Now, that's always of interest to me because she's not the first person that's told me that. That's always of interest to me because we as singing teachers, we talk big about breath management typically. What I find though is very few people actually do zone in on it. And I have a number of lessons that I dedicate to specifically working on breath management. And Gavin, I'd be encouraging you over a period of time to be developing using, for those of you who don't know, I've got an exercise CD. So using the exercise CD, exercise 12 and 13 specifically, Gavin, are going to be really beneficial to you on the CD. And so make sure you use that. I'm pretty sure, Gavin, you've got the CD from memory. Make sure you're using those exercises and develop the ability to manage your body and your body's movement of air. So that when you get to, for example, you're talking about supporting from D4 up, you're able to adjust the level of pressure dependent on what the particular task, whether it be a scale or whether it be repertoire, depending on where you are in the voice, whether it be around about a transition, and D4 would be coming close to some transitionary points for you, Gavin. Make sure that you are working your breath management, intentionally in your practice, so that you then have the ability to manage that D4 area in this particular instance, or any other particular instance, particularly transitional work. I really encourage you to get a good handle on your breath management first for good transitional work. Otherwise, you're going to be working really hard and on your transitions, and if you don't have a good solid foundation around your breathing, then transition work becomes all the more harder. In fact, I think it can become very difficult to do it well and in a balanced manner. So Gavin, I hope that helps. Jumping over here, Palav has jumped in. G'day, nice to see you. Make sure you let us know where you're from and what temperature it is. We've just finished a full week of rain and what have you, and in fact I was watching one of my friend's videos, Karen from Singwise video. I was watching her video this morning, and she was saying that that her in the US, they've just finished a big heat wave. So portions of the US have been under heat wave. Here in Brisbane, we've been under rain for the last few days. So wherever you are, I hope you're safe and comfortable. And doesn't our hearts go out to the people that have just lost their lives and the families that are left behind around the whole tragedy around that burning, tower that in London. Just tragic stuff. So wherever you are, I hope you're safe and able to, move about life freely. Okay, so jumping over here, Palav has asked, hello from Ontario. Oh, I just want to look here at Bree's comment. Hello from Ontario. It's the last 20 minutes of my... Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bree. Happy birthday to you. Bree, that is the first time I've ever sung happy birthday on this channel, so happy birthday to you. 21 is a big milestone. We hope you've had a great day. And as I was singing, I could hear the Voice Essentials community singing along. We all hope that you've had a great day. And thanks for tuning in and spending the last 22 minutes of your special day with us. We all think that's fantastic. Jumping into Palav's question, how do we know when a belt is chesty, heady, or well mixed? Good question, Palav. This requires a little bit of explanation. Okay, so I tend to reserve the word belt specifically for loud, healthy, sustainable volume. Now, you will hear other pedagogues using belt in a far more broader way. If you're interested in learning more about how I use belt, you can jump onto the channel and go looking for my belt exercise, belt video. The thing is, Palav, that the reason I reserve the term belt for loud singing is because I want it to mean something. I don't want it to just be a generic term. So you might hear people use the term of light belt and quiet belt. I tend to want to reserve the term for loud singing. And that loud singing typically, certainly on my exercise CD, I encourage people to use a shortened dominant only mode on exercises, I want to say exercise 6 and 7, and the belt exercises, developing belt and developing belt with something. And what the reason for that is because I want to, with those exercises, strengthen your thyroarytenoid muscle, the shortener muscle, what some people would refer to as chest voice, some people will refer to it as M1, some people will refer to it as thick fold. And I'm wanting to strengthen that muscle so that we can get more mass, more body, more contact out of that vocal fold, out of the body of the vocal fold, to form more closed quotient, which then gives us more volume. And if you're doing it in a balanced way where you don't have too much air pressure, then hopefully that's going to really serve to give you more volume. So as far as then transitioning that belt, you can use twang specifically, and we talked about twang very specifically earlier in the week during another one of our live sessions. So yeah, you use twang to transition it, and certainly there is evidence to show that we can take that heavier mechanism, that more intense sound, up safely with twang. But in my exercises, I just encourage that, certainly the 2 exercises on the CD, to be short and dominant only, and And so just coming back over to your question so I can make sure I've understood it fully. How do we know when a belt is chesty, heady, or well mixed? So you're going to hear that in the sound. And so when we go into a mixed voice, well, I reserve the term mixed sound, mixed voice for that space, and I reserve heady. That what you're referring to, I usually refer to that as upper register, length, and a dominant. But you get the point. I tend to want to reserve that term belt for loud singing, and that means you can take it all the way up past, and withhold the transition and keep that shortener dominance activated. Look, there are other people that take a different view to that, but that's how I certainly go about it. Jumping down here, good to see you, Kimberly. Thanks for joining in. How can you get rid of vocal hoarseness when you sing? Kimberly, there are a range of exercises that you can do. Go looking for the video on my channel called How to Heal Swollen Vocal Folds. That will be helpful to you, and there's a whole video there. Look, guys, a lot of the time I'm going to be directing you to other videos on the channel because we don't have time to, to go. Certainly not today. We don't have time to unpack a lot of the instruction. There is over 250. Sorry, there's not quite 250 videos on the channel. There will be within the next couple of weeks. 250 videos on the channel, and there's a lot of information there. Hopefully really helpful information that you can take advantage of. And if you are new to the channel, then make sure you hit the subscribe button to join our ever-growing community of singers from across the globe. But also make sure you hit the bell icon so that you always receive notification that I'm going live. It is the only way that you'll know when I do these, what are quite random drop-ins online, and so we can spend some time together. Typically, and we've already done one this week, typically we do them on Mondays and Tuesdays. And today, of course, we're adding an extra one. We're sneaking one in, and I'm keeping a close eye on the time because it's around about 10 to 2 here on a Thursday afternoon. And very soon I'm going to have a knock on the door, on the studio door. For those of you who have never seen the studio, there's the studio. So I'm about to have a knock on that door, and when I do, I'm going to have to teach. And so I'll need to wrap up before I receive that knock. Let me just jump back over to some questions here. So good to have so many of you joining in. And I've got a bug flying around my face. Here we go. I'm jumping down here. Pallav from Nepal, down to 9 degrees. That's cold, Pallav. Stay warm, mate. Okay. Bree, you're welcome. I'm glad you found. Happy birthday, and I hope the rest of the week is good and you're able to spend it with friends and family for your 21st. Oh, this bug, it's in my face. Okay, one to down here. Let's answer. Let's give Bree. In fact, I'm going to give Bree the final question. And I've seen just right down the bottom, I've seen Karen's jumped in. Hey Karen, I watched your video about doing some live YouTube stuff this morning. You should do it, Karen. Like you said, all the cool kids are doing it, and here we are. It's good to have you join us. You'll figure out the technology stuff. Everyone jump across and subscribe to Karen's channel. She's doing some great work, and it'll be good to spend some time with her when she goes live. It's always very scary though, Karen, because anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And for those of you who have been joining me online live for some time, you will know we've had some things go wrong here. Okay, so jumping up, I'm going to give the birthday girl her question. We're going to go to it here. Me too. So this is, she's referring to Shane, who is actually one of my students. I take prescription pills to manage my reflux, as do I. Bree, if yours is out of control, you should consult a doctor about treatment. Well, that's good advice, Bree. That's actually not a question. That's just good advice. And always, if your reflux is out of control, always consult your family doctor. Go to your doctor first. Don't listen to anyone on YouTube. go to your family doctor. They are always best placed to manage your health. You can come to YouTube for a bit of information, a bit of a reconnaissance, but beyond that, Bree is absolutely right. It's the wisdom of a new 21-year-old there. Always go to your family doctor. I'm jumping down here. There's a question from Bree, and we are going to give this one to Bree because I do want to see her get a question for her birthday. How do I keep my voice from tiring out when I need to sing 2 shows in a day? Excellent. Really what we're talking about there, great question for us to finish on. Really what we're talking about there is actually vocal pacing. How do you pace your day, your voice throughout a day if you've got 2 shows? We're often going to see that. Music theatre singers will experience that a lot. Worship singers, if they have a service in the morning and then they've got to also sing at night, have got to do this. What you've got to make sure you do is, firstly, you must warm up before the first show to ensure that your recovery rate after the first show is as good as it possibly can be. Firstly. Secondly, manage your voice through the first gig, the first set, recognizing that you do have another one to go, whether it be, straight after or later on in the day, in the evening. Manage your voice and manner. Remember, the paying public of the second show, if it is a paying public, if it's church, it's not, but the paying public, they deserve, of the night show, the second show, deserve equally just as much value as the first show. So be sure to, pace your voice accordingly. Then as you get to the end of the first show, do a considered cool down. Bring the voice back to a happy place. And if you've got a good distance between the 2 shows, so we're not just talking 2 sets that might be separated by 15 or 20 minutes. If you've got hours between the sets, then give yourself some vocal rest. Allow do the cool down, move the fluid that may have built up through the first show, move that from your vocal folds, do some straw work, and then cool the voice down, get it back to a happy place, and then when it comes to then preparing for the next show, go through the whole process again. Don't be lazy, be disciplined, do your warm-ups again, and then you may not need to do as long a warm-up. So maybe when in the morning you've done a 20-minute warm-up for the first show, if you're doing a night show, you might only need to do 10 minutes to get the voice back in. But a lot of people just want to skip it over for the second show. Do not skip over your warm-up for the second one. Do the second, be considerate. I went to say be considerate to your voice. I guess we can be considerate to our own voices. Be intentional about doing that second warm-up. Be disciplined, do the second warm-up, and then again at the end of the second show, do a cool down. It's the cool down that, a lot of us do forget it. Those ones of us who are disciplined with our warm-ups, we often are undisciplined, and we forget in the hype of the finishing of the show and the adrenaline, we can forget to do those cool downs. Make sure you do them, because that's the opportunity to move the lactic acid on, so that when you do come to using your voice the next day, for example, the voice is going to feel a lot better and it's going to recover a lot better, so that when should you have to do another show the next day, your voice is in great condition. Well, there you go. That was possibly one of the quickest online hangouts that we've done so far. But like I said, we had the opportunity to hang out, and I wanted to do that with you. And I think we'll try and do these in the future. Every now and then I do get a random 20 minutes that we can jump in and do the Q&A, because I don't get to answer anywhere near as many questions as I like to when we're on our live chat and live hangouts, where we usually do unpack. I do like to sort of have a theme around these online times, but today it was good to just answer your questions. Bree, happy birthday! Have a great rest of your week, and I hope. In fact, we've got still a fair bit of you still going on. You're Karen, you're very cool too. Oh, hello. Let's get rid of that. I'll get rid of that and move. That's sort of over my head. Like I said, Karen, anything can go wrong when we're doing these things live. Yeah, Gavin's going to jump across to Karen's channel to have a look. You should all do that. Jump across, have a look at her channel, subscribe. She's giving out some great information, and she's a lovely human being. So, you'll all get a lot out of her channel. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for. I've got to go and teach. In fact, I teach right through now until 9:15 tonight. It's going to be a long day, but fortunately, I love what I do. I hope to see you all again very soon in the next Voice Essentials video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.